Welcome to part 2 of the Nedbank Eduseries and episode 1 of Where Are They Now? I'm your host, Kopano Shimange, and today we're catching up with a very special guest.
It all stems from my dad, my late dad. He was very responsible with his money, and sometimes we'd say too responsible. He was a great planner and made sure that we account for each and every cent.
As you've just seen, she is a powerhouse, a purpose-led entrepreneur and program lead for a prominent philanthropic organization. She was our very first guest for the Nedbank Eduseries. Welcome back, Ntando Kunene. Ntando, it's been a year since we've had our conversation, and I must say, you look great.
Thank you so much, Kopano. You look fantastic yourself.
Thank you. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you've had a career change since our last conversation?
Yeah, can you believe it's been a year already? So I had a career change late last year in November from where I was to where I am now, which has been amazing. So that's really a highlight for me.
That is amazing. So tracking back to last year, I'd like to know, what was your first financial thrill and how did it affect you personally or professionally?
My goodness, you know what happens when you move from one job to the next, and especially now moving also how much you earn as an individual. So the financial thrill I had was that I purchased myself a brand new car. So that was amazing, and I was so excited about it. From a personal perspective, really it was just marking a long-term dream. I wanted this car since I was 21 years old, and now it's how many years later? 12 years later, and finally, so I couldn't resist. So that's what happened. And professionally, it's just growing, growing in my career. I always look forward to growth, and yeah, that's what happened.
So looking back at last year, what was one financial insight or lesson that really stuck with you, and how did you apply it?
The one financial lesson we had last year was impulsive spending. We're very guilty with that. And I won't say that buying a car was impulsive spend as well, but just, making sure that you budget properly and making sure that you're accounting for everything that goes in your account. And just because you are able to move from one income to another, it doesn't mean your expenses need to grow with that as well. So, yeah.
It can be very tempting though, right?
High key. High key. But it's one of those things where you tell yourself, how does it look like in the long run? It's just saying no to now so you can say yes later.
No to now so you can say yes later.
Yes.
I need a pen and paper. This is so
Don't worry, I'll WhatsApp it to you.
You spoke a lot about purpose and passion. I'd like to know how your understanding of financial purpose has evolved over the last year.
Geez, Kopano, we've known each other for so many years, and I think what has been evident is just my life living with passion and purpose with everything that I do. And with my financial life, it really has moved from just income accumulation, but also just activating, and what is it able to activate for me in my life, and looking at my son, he's growing and so forth. So what does that activate for him? So I need to save more, I need to invest more for him, for his schooling and things like that. And even now when he's 6 years old, it's buying an odd jacket here and then because he loses everything all the time. So it has just been moving from accumulation to more, what does it activate in my life?
Have there been any challenges that you have faced? And secondly, any financial wins that have taught you something new?
Oh, challenges. Let me start with the win. It's always better to start with the win. The win has been just increasing my retirement. I think with even our last conversation, we spoke about I am very concerned with how life will look like once I can no longer go into work or I can no longer work for myself. So I really do try my best all the time to increase my contribution to my retirement. And something else, I wouldn't say it's a challenge really, but something I had to factor into my life, and just like maybe every other young South African as well, is our parents getting older and our parents retiring. And what does that mean for us in our financial life? So they're moving from having their own medical aid to now having to move into yours, or having to start a brand new one for them. So that has been quite an adjustment to know that now it's taking care of my mother on top of everything else that needs to be taken care of.
I'm sure that this is also teaching you a lesson about your own retirement, seeing your mom going through retirement as well.
100%, 100%. But it's also like my mother and I had different opportunities. We grew up in different generations, and so that is quite an eye opener for me, as you've said, to just make sure that by the time I get to 65 to 60, whenever I decide to retire, that I am in a position where I can retire comfortably.
So we know life happens.
Yeah, all the time.
It happens all the time. So how has your budgeting and your saving strategy shifted with major life developments?
Oh, it goes back to the financial thriller we spoke about, just moving from one income to the next, because now you're thinking, oh, I've got more money to play around with, but just being responsible with that as well. So I've just learned to really critique my spending. And because I kind of now went and I got an expense, which is quite expensive, so it's making sure that I'm not doing those impulse buying. It's asking myself very important question: do I need this now, or can it wait, or do I need it at all? And making sure that am I putting enough in my savings? Am I putting enough in my emergency funds as well? So it's been that kind of journey for me.
It's an interesting one where now your budget is changing and how you save is changing with how your life is evolving.
100%. And it's challenging, right? Because you're so used to living your life in a particular way. And now that you are increasing or growing in your career, you are having to be more strict with yourself because there's more that you want, right? So in the long run, you also want to go into buying properties, and having more investments and so forth. So it really does need you to look at your budget, to look at your bank account with a very fine tooth comb.
What steps have you taken to strengthen your financial planning or your investment habits over the last year?
The last year, I've strengthened my relationship with my financial advisor. That has been my biggest thing. I think I've been so scared. I think sometimes we get so scared to talk about our finances, and your financial advisor allows you to do that. Well, not allows, but kind of forces you to, because you've got plans that you want to have, and you kind of need to be very transparent on where you are and where you want to be. So that has been the biggest thing, just having that active relationship with my financial advisor.
Who or what has influenced your financial mindset in this past year?
The past year, initially, I remember when we last spoke, we said my dad was the biggest contributor, but having strengthened my relationship with my financial advisor, that has been the biggest one. And especially when it comes to saying no, right? I think we've got so many people around us that sometimes it's hard for us when someone says, "How, Kopano, can I please have a certain amount of money?" Like, yeah, sure. But to be able to actually say, I've budgeted for this month. No, I don't have that money right now, and be comfortable in saying that. It is quite a journey, but it is something that is so critical to how you spend your money and where you see it going as well.
It's interesting to see how your budgeting is also affecting how other people also budget in your life.
100%. And that came from a question where she said to me, "Okay, Ntando, I'm seeing this and this and this. What's happening here?" So I had to explain. I'm like, okay, this is what's happening, this is what's happening. It's like, is there a way you can have a conversation to ask, okay, guys, how would you like for me to help you on a monthly? And when you look at that, are you able to help with that particular amount? So that was quite a groundbreaking move for me.
Now, looking at your Nedbank financial journey, what tools, platform, or influential advisors have helped you to level up?
Telco was quite critical with our last conversation we had. And I know that obviously something that a lot of us use with the Nedbank Money app, but I will also go back to having a person that you can talk to that will help you understand your own financial spending and your own relationship with money and how you view money and what you want it to do for you. That has been quite critical. It's just having that human element to your finances and being able to talk to someone that will kind of walk you through your financial life.
And finally,
yeah,
what personal or business goals do you have for the next year, and how do you plan to make that happen?
Oh, I've actually got two. business goals. One is actually growing my business further, my coaching business. And luckily, you know, not only does Nedbank open us up to financial advice, but to people like yourself. So we've already have a date for beginning of the year, 2026, so that I'm planning for my business and my coaching life, just so I'm more consistent with it. So that's one. The second part is doing, having a property portfolio. That's something that's really been like a long-term dream as well. And I want to really just start getting into that. So those are the two big things that are up next.
Those are amazing goals. And this was an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ntando. This was an inspiring catch-up. And it's just proof, it goes to show that with Nedbank, your financial journey can be both thrilling and challenging in all the best ways possible. To you, who is just starting out, or you have already begun your journey. As a young professional, there's always a thrill to look forward to. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep moving forward.